This is Julian from Market Update Premium. We trade growth stocks and momentum stocks, and today I want to show you a setup where we entered a trade yesterday, and that is First Solar. We already know First Solar for a couple of months now, and we traded it very successful here in this up move in September 22, and now the stock set up again after this huge move here some weeks ago. So we know the story from First Solar. We already know that they have a very huge backlog, and that the backlog will now be transferred into sales. And we can see that here, if you look at the sales numbers, that the sales grew quarter by quarter in comparison to the year before. And also we see rising EPS numbers in the last quarters. You can see that here a growth of almost 200%, then 200, then 600, then over 1,000 and 450. So, and this is the consequence of the huge backlog, which is now transferred into sales and also into EPS. I'm not 100% sure if the energy and solar sector, which is now number 24 out of 197 industries tracked by IBD, if now the solar sector will come back. If I look at the other sister stocks from First Solar, they are much more weaker than First Solar itself. So this is one of the reasons why I and also members are focusing on First Solar right now. When we look at the fundamental side, we can see that First Solar was able to make a huge jump in yearly EPS last year in 2023. You can see that here they're coming from $1.36, they went to $4.38, and then in 2023 they went to $7.74, and now for the next 2 years, so for this year and the next year, you can see another big big estimates for the yearly EPS. That's exactly what we are looking for. So we want to make sure that a company also has a bright future and a good outlook. We look at estimates, but we look also at how institutions look at the stock and how they accumulate the stock. And that gives us also some clues if institutions believe into the future of a company or not. And when you look at the volume here, I mean, I highlighted that also in my free newsletter for quite some time. You can see a lot of these big blue skyscrapers, how I call that. And this is really accumulation volume. You can see that a lot of them are around earnings dates. This is not a big surprise because around earnings days you have the highest liquidity and institutions are jumping into the stock. But these huge skyscrapers are much higher than the red bars. So, and the red bars are the volume on a down week, and the blue bars are on the volume on the up week. And you can see that there seems to be buying activity. And that's also mirrored by the number of funds, which went up in the last couple of quarters from 2,053 to 2,113. I mean, it's not a big jump, but overall it's accumulation activity. Then we are looking at the up and down volume, which gives us another clue if the stock is accumulated or not. 1.9 means there is more up or more volume on up days than on down days. And accumulation distribution A+ is the best rating you can get when it comes to accumulation activity. Then the other ratings is also something we are looking for. EPS 82 is good. So it's not 90, which I prefer, but it's in the direction of 90. Composite rating is 99, the best one you can get. They have return equity. They have a very high cash flow in comparison to the EPS from 2023. So from the fundamental side, everything looks good. And also, of course, the RS rating and the RS line are important. So the RS line is very steep and the RS rating is 97. So it outperforms already 97% of all stocks. So that's what we are checking from the fundamental side. So, and you know, when we look into the daily chart, you can see this very, very tight range in the last couple of days. You know, I always want to make sure that I and also the members are buying the stock at the right time. And what is the right time? The right time is really when we have a very low risk to enter the stock. So that means we can place a very tight stop loss. And on the other side, when we see that accumulation activity is coming back into the stock. And when you look at the stock, you had now 3 very tight bases here in the row. This is the first one, this is the second one, and this here is now the third one. And all of them are showing the similar characteristic. And here around that area, the stock wasn't not on our list. So because we were tracking some other stocks that provided better entry opportunities when the market was coming out of this correction. But now, yesterday or in the last couple of days, we saw this very tight range after this momentum move. You know, you have the strong momentum move, then you have a tight base, and this is really important because it gives you confirmation that there is already enough buying activity and enough eyes on the stock so that you can assume that if the stock will move higher, there is enough buying activity. You know, you don't want to buy a stock when there is not enough buying activity, because institutions are not accumulating the stock. You can see that here, or let's say different, there's not enough buying power from institutions to really move the stock to the upside. And when you have this confirmation and you buy after the first base, the first pullback after such a momentum move, you can be sure that there is enough buying activity. And this is, you know, this is why we were tracking the stock for a couple of weeks now in the community. And yesterday the stock broke out on good volume. You can see that here, 48% above average volume. That's really good. That's what we are looking for. It broke out of this tight flag, and I and also members entered the stock when it broke out here above this pivot point. And when you have such a short-term setup, that means, you know, you have a very tight base for what is it, just 3 weeks or something like, 3 weeks. You know, you don't want to hold the stock for a very long period because it's already extended. You can see there is already a lot of distance to the moving averages, so that means the stock is already extended, and it's breaking out from a 3 weeks base, you know. And of course the stock could maybe go up for another 6 months, but if the stock is already extended and breaking out of a short-term base, you want to take profits much faster. So that means you probably want to do a swing trade instead of a position trade, selling it into the strength. So, and when it comes to such a setup, it's totally fine if you enter here and, you know, to place your stop loss in the middle of the base, so just a couple of % away, so that you have a really good risk-reward ratio at the end. And when it comes to profit taking, you know, you can use this move here and put it here, put it around the base to get a feeling where you could take profits. And I'm not 100% sure where exactly the trend will end. Maybe it will go up to 360, maybe 370 for another 20 to 30% move, or on the other side even to 400. But when it comes to swing trading, I rather take profits into the strength. So that means I sell when a profit target is reached or when I see that the stock is running into exhaustion. And that's totally fine. You know, I try also to teach the members the mindset to be happy with profits, especially if you're doing a swing trade. You know, when you're doing a position trade and you follow a stock for a couple of months, it's a total different game. But if you want to do a swing trade, be happy with the profits that you get when it comes to, you know, when the stock is doing a substantial move. At the end, it's about making money. So that means, you know, you collect some profits and you don't want to press every cent out of a trade. If you try to be perfect, that's not what will work in the market, because the market is also not perfect. So it's rather about, you know, making a substantial profit with a swing trade instead of pressing every cent out of stock. All right, so if you are interested in more videos and articles, etc., you can try out Market Update Premium, my community, for 14 days for free. Of course, you can also follow me on Twitter, and I wrote a free newsletter if you are interested in that. You can find everything on Twitter, or you search for my name at Google. I send it out every Sunday with trading tips and also 3 stocks from my watch list.